Good evening. Welcome to the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show with Coach Mike. I'm your host, Rick Davis. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, please feel free to reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this Monday evening, just like it is every Monday night in the 7 o'clock hour. And I want to thank everyone in the audience for tuning in. I urge everyone out there, get involved in tonight's show. Take your smartphone, record yourself asking Coach Mike a relevant real estate question, submit it to our Monday Night Live call-in line, and you never know. One of our agents may very well get your question answered on tonight's show. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to thank everybody for checking us out. I want to introduce my co-host. Not only is he one of the most successful real estate brokers anywhere in the state of Texas, but he is also, most importantly, one of the founders of Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank him for being my co-host on the show each and every Monday night. So introducing to the Monday Night Live audience, you know him as Coach Mike, but I'd like to introduce Mr. Michael G. Davis. How you doing, brother?
What is going on, Rick? We are here. It's Monday, another Monday night. Excited to be here to answer some questions and help some people out.
Hey, man, we have some great questions already lined up from members of our audience. We have some great call-in questions. I want to thank you so much, Coach Mike, man, because last week's episode, man, you outdid yourself. I got such a positive response on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. So on behalf of myself and everybody in the audience, thank you, Coach Mike, for giving out such worthwhile game last week.
Hey, man, sometimes it just come out, man. I can't help myself.
Man, what's been going on, man? How was your weekend? What's been going on in the world of Coach Mike and Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm?
Man, I mean, coming off of that jam-packed week that we had last week, Rick, man, 10 events. Like, this is the most
10 events, brother.
10 events, bro. Like,
yes.
I've never experienced anything like that in my life. So just had an opportunity, but I had an opportunity to do some great things, touch some great people, meet some great people, help some great people. But that weekend, man, was just able to kind of relax a little bit before we geared up for another week of stuff. So, it was pretty cool.
Man, it's great to hear that, man. It was such a busy and worthwhile weekend. It was so many great things, so many goals were attained, and so much great networking was done, man. It's amazing to me about how many cool activities and how many cool programs there are at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm for everybody to take advantage of, man. And I urge everyone in the audience, if you are a member over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, get involved, take advantage of all of these activities, the trainings, and all of the things that are provided by the brokerage, because these things will not only help you professionally, but also expand your networking base and hopefully bring some new leads and customers into your business.
No, you definitely got to stay active. I mean, that's a great word right there, Rick. And I encourage you all to heed his word. You got to get active, man. The one thing that I've realized by being in this business as long as I have is sometimes you can't even explain how it come back to you, but activity is rewarded.
Yes.
The real estate guys reward you for putting in the work. It may not come from the direction that you was putting the work in. It may hit you on the side, but it's coming.
Always come back around.
Always, definitely a phenomenon that I believe in. So if a lot of them, Rick, they just sitting there waiting for it to fall in their lap, and it's just not gonna. It's not gonna happen. That's not what's gonna happen. It don't matter what brokerage firm you with, no matter who you join, what company, it don't matter what they offering you. None of that matters. If you just sitting there waiting for it to fall in your lap, hey man, it ain't happening.
It's just not gonna happen for you, man. Coach, man, for all those agents, those students, those real estate professionals in the audience, man, they're really excited about getting to our questions for this week. So if you're ready, bro, I want to get to our question number 1 from the text line.
Man, let's do it.
And let's check that question out. Coach Mike, question 1 from the text line states, if today is the last day of your option period and the listing agent says that the seller is going to sign the amendment, do I need that in writing, in quotes, via email, Or do I need to start sending termination papers if you're taking too long to get the signed documents back to me?
They say, man, do they need to do it? Do it need to be in writing, Rick, or do it need to be an email or termination?
Right.
So here's my take on it, right? Because a lot of people are hesitant about, submitting those termination papers because they think they're gonna freak out the listing agent. But guess what? If you represent a buyer, you got to protect your buyer's interest, like your client's interest. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? So it's a common situation that agents find themselves in. Well, here's my advice. My advice is submit the termination papers, but in the body of the email that you submit the termination papers, you make the listing agent aware that our intention is not to terminate. Like, we don't want to terminate. We're only submitting this paper as a precaution to protect my client's earnest money. We're still in it. We haven't given up. We want to come to a resolution, but I got to make sure that my buyer is protected and that his earnest money is protected, because the last thing that I want to have happen is my client lose their earnest money over a technicality.
Exactly.
So that's how I would recommend that agent deal with that situation, that scenario. Yeah, obviously you don't want to push the seller or the listing agent, freak them out, make them do something rash because they see these termination papers and they're thinking like, well, no, we were having a deal. Like, what happened? And then they begin to feel some kind of way. No, you don't want to create that dynamic. I get it, but you got to make sure that you protect your client's well-being. So that's why you do both, right? It ain't one or the other. You do both. And then, because the reality, Rick, and you know this, man, communication is key in our business, right? Mm-hmm. Lack of communication is what kills most deals. So as professionals, we got to make sure that we're communicating at the highest level. And this is a way to do it by doing both.
And just to piggyback on what you're saying, because I agree totally. If there is a circumstance where you may have an email address for the seller, sometimes, especially in purchase agreements, it'll have the email address for the buyer and the seller. You can send those forms and emails and CC both the agent and the seller, and that'll cover you as well. So I just wanted to add that little extra caveat in.
Absolutely. But here we go. But then some agents may be like, but what if that listing agent finds out that I'm emailing his seller? Ain't he gonna get mad? Like, ain't he gonna be mad at me? And here's my thought process is, yeah, that information is in the contract in most instances at the title company, right? And I do agree that this is a situation or a scenario that the seller does need to be included on the email. For the most part, I think most listing agents would be okay because they understand the circumstances. But you may run into one of them that feel like his toes getting stepped on because he saw his seller's contact information on that email. But it's easy to kind of deal with that. You got to do the right thing, and I think the right thing is making all parties aware and informed of what's going on.
Absolutely, I agree, man. Great answer, man. Because those option deposits, earnest deposits, those hard and fast dates as far as things that we're committing to, and commitments where everybody has to go by what it is that we commit to in the contract are definitely important dates, and dates that as professionals we all need to be aware of at all times. So let's make sure, like you say, Coach Mike, we got to always keep our clients' interests at the forefront, and we got to protect their earnest deposit at all costs.
Absolutely. Yes.
Seems like our second question, Coach Mike, comes in. Oh, we have a audio video question that came in. So somebody has taken the opportunity to record themselves asking Coach Mike a relevant real estate question. Man, I'm really excited about this. Is you ready for question number 2, Coach?
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
Let's check out question number 2 from the callers.
Hi, Coach Mike. This is Shamte from Tomball, and I have a question. How do you manage to balance your schedule when working with a client and picking a schedule that's feasible for both parties when showing houses?
Oh, wow. So how do you balance? Ooh, that's the secret grail right there, huh?
Right, how to organize your time. Absolutely.
Yeah, how to organize that thing, because I tell you what, if you don't put parameters around it, your clients, your customers, your colleagues, this business, they will definitely take advantage if you don't know how to put parameters around your time. Because here's the thing, Rick. Most people, they're more than willing to trade their time in for money. And in my opinion, that's backwards, right? Because time is more valuable than money. You can make more money, but you can't get more time back. And as real estate professionals, we got to understand that. We have to understand that. We have to stop doing whatever is required to chase that dollar. We got to stop that, because we're sacrificing a lot. Like, we're sacrificing time with our family. We're sacrificing quality of life. And in most instances, the problem is not the operating hours that we work within. The problem is not, not having parameters. That's not the problem. The problem is that we're not operating in the most efficient way. The problem is, Rick, is that we're not utilizing our time the way that we need to utilize it, right?
All right.
So my answer to the question is, first of all, you need to determine what your work hours is going to be. I don't care. Listen, I don't care how bad you want a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on a Sunday. I don't care how bad you want it. Guess what? When you go to that Chick-fil-A, when you pull in that drive-thru, when you walk up to that door on a Sunday, that sign gonna say closed.
Period.
Period. Chick-fil-A does not care how bad you want a chicken sandwich on Sunday, right? Now, why are they able to be that confident and bold with how they operate their business? Because they know when they are open, oh, you like that chicken sandwich. You like them nuggets. You like that chicken wrap and then waffle fries, right? It's the value that they provide to the marketplace. So because of the value that they provide, they're confident in knowing that the customer will be okay working within my parameters. So
right.
that's how you got to approach your business. You have to approach your business in such a high level that the customer will be okay if they have to wait until, like, if it's after 6 o'clock or after 7 o'clock and they have to wait until the next day to be able to get you. Or if it's before 8, if it's 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they have to wait till 9, when you officially start your day, they'll be okay with that, because they know once it's working time that you're going to show up, at a high level. So as real estate professionals, we have to bring that approach to how we operate. That, once we are open officially, then we got to attack that thing, and we have to offer extreme service to the customer. You need to have working hours, right? Mm-hmm. There needs to be we got to turn this thing off, and then we can turn this thing back on the next day. Be okay with having, on a Saturday and you shutting it down at 5 or 6 o'clock, right? Be okay with, for the longest, Rick, I didn't work on Sundays. I still don't. Mm-hmm. I don't work on Sundays, right? You need to have a day to where you can relax. You can resharpen yourself. That you can take a deep breath. You got to have those parameters in place, because if not, I go back to that illustration. I heard a story about they were having a contest, and they were in the woods, and they were saying, here's your axe. Go and chop down as many trees as you can. One person, they just kept chopping, never stop. And then the other one, they would chop so much, then they would stop. And then they would come back and they would chop some more. Then they would stop. Then they would come back and they would chop some more. Then they would stop. Right? So this went on for about 24 hours. This one guy, he chopping 24 hours, just going, never stopped the whole time. And then the other guy, every couple of hours, stopped and then restarted. After it was all said and done, right? This one guy working 24 hours. The other one, if he stopped every couple of hours, he really only worked like 12 hours. And he not only did he cut more than what the other guy cut, he doubled it. It was like double what the amount that the other guy was able to cut. Why was that? Because guess what? Every time he stopped, Rick, what was he able to do? He was able to replenish himself.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to sharpen his axe. He was able to get him some water, maybe get him some grub, maybe get some rest. So even though he's working less hours, those 12 hours that he's working, he's maxed.
Mm-hmm.
He's maxed efficiency, maxed effort, peak state. While my other guy who ain't sharpening his axe, now he 20 hours in, but his axe dull. His axe barely getting through the wood, right? You know, he tired. He ain't really got the strength. His arms hurt, arms tired. He ain't got the strength to really put the pressure on the trees, right? We get tripped up feeling like we just got to keep working, when in reality, we doing ourselves a disservice by not stopping and relaxing and turning it off and disconnecting. So, man, so that's how you balance it, Rick. You balance it by first selling yourself. Like, they have to sell themselves on the value of disconnecting and being okay with that. They have to sell themselves on the fact that it is actually in their client's best interest if they have some level of parameters around the time that they offer to this business. That is in their client's best interest. They have to first sell themselves on that. And the reason that they have to sell themselves on that, Rick, is because everything else as it relates to our business is telling them the opposite. It's telling them you need to always be available. You need to always answer your phone. You can't go on vacation. You can't sleep. No matter what's going on, you got to be there. Like, that's, I mean, you know, you laughing, but you know it's true.
Yeah.
Like, that's the message that we're getting, right? And then and we subscribe and we believe that stuff, Rick. But no, that is not the case. This is 18 years, over 1,000 transactions in my belt. That's saying that is for the birds. That is not what those people that operate like that are not making money. The people that are becoming the most successful in real estate are the ones that are operating the way that I'm saying. The ones that go on vacation, the ones that may not work on Sundays, but those are the ones that's making a killing in this business.
And I agree totally. And I thank you so much for being so transparent as far as how you structure your business, because I urge all the real estate professionals, professional realtors, those in real estate school to keep in mind, most buyers that you work with, most clients that you guys have opportunity to work with professionally are very understanding people. If you set the right expectation from the time of your new client orientation or your new client consultation and talk to them about your schedule, how it is that you work, why you work that way, most people will definitely understand and can understand why you plan your schedule out a certain way as a real estate professional. And also just keep in mind, especially when you're working with those first-time buyers, they are so excited about the process and they're so excited to work with you as a real estate professional that they may not necessarily tangibly realize that you do have other families that you're working with concurrently as you're working with them as well. So even though to us as professionals, we may be thinking, you guys aren't the only family that I'm working with currently, chances are, especially if the process is going the way that we all planned it out to be from the beginning, they're so excited and they're such in such a euphoric state that they feel like you are their world and your world are the only worlds that are rotating around the sun at that time. So to all you real estate pros out there, just keep that in mind and just set the right expectation. I think we can monitor and consult and guide them through the process and not have any real issues as far as a work-life balance.
Absolutely, Rick. And we're not saying that you put your clients and your customers to the back burner. We're not saying that. You can do exactly what I'm saying do and operate your schedule and your life exactly the way I'm saying operate it, and your clients still feel like they're getting maximum service. They're getting outstanding customer service. They can still feel that way. Again, it just goes with what Rick said. Number one, managing expectations up front. Number one, and number two, when you own, be owned. Like operate,
right.
Like operate at a high level when you're on. Operate like that. Rick, I've only had one client that took issue with me not being accessible 24/7. And only one, like I said, thousands of transactions, I only had one that took issue with me not being available 24/7. And guess what, Rick? Still sold his house, still got his household, still, still completed the situation. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those, and the crazy thing about it is that although he took issue with how I was operating, his situation was complicated. So not only did we get the situation, not only did we get it done, his particular situation was complex, and we still got it done.
Exactly.
And but he when it was all said and done, he said, "Man, you should have told me that you wasn't the type of agent that would be on call 24/7. You should have told me that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm calling you at 10 o'clock at night, at 11 o'clock at night, and you're not answering the phone." I'm like, bruh, it don't take all that, clearly, because we still sold the house. So only one. So I'm not saying you ain't gonna go perfect. They ain't gonna bat 1,000, Rick. They ain't gonna bat 1,000. But most people, more than most people, like you said, are reasonable, conscious, considerate people.
Absolutely. And man, Coach, I'm glad that you're here to give some guidance to those new agents, because sometimes those conversations can be uncomfortable, especially if you don't set the correct expectations. So we just want to share the message to everyone that we understand. Like Coach Mike says, sometimes you're going to have those outlier clients that from a personality perspective may be a bit more needy or a bit more demanding, but as a professional, there's ways to work with them as well. And just like you mentioned, Coach Mike, as long as we get to the end goal and everything is taken care of in a professional and timely manner, at the end of the process, everybody will walk away happy. So let's just always keep that in mind as professionals as we work through this market here, Houston, Texas, or wherever you may be practicing in this United States of America. So thank you so much for that advice, Coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, man, got our third question, man. I'm really excited about it, man, Coach. It's coming in from the text line. So if you have some time for, listen, what I'm saying, if you got time for a third question, Coach, I want to run this text line question past you.
Let's do it, man. Let's jump on it.
Let's see what the text has got for us this evening. Check this out, Coach Mike. Text line question states, is earnest money usually 1%? And how much would you suggest for an option fee on a purchase of $245,000, Coach?
Ooh, Rick. So this is a great question, and this is how I would answer that question, Rick. Mm-hmm. There is, in real estate, there is no one size fits all, right? There is no, we can just paint it with a broad brush. We can't do that in real estate. Mm-hmm. So there's additional context. Like if I'm going to give some advice as it relates to this particular situation, there's additional context that we need to concern ourselves with, right? I mean, how many offers am I competing against?
Yes.
Right?
Most important, because earnest money, option money, like those are things that can be included as it relates to negotiations. So how many offers am I dealing with? Right? How familiar am I with the property? Right? Like, how old is the property? Do I know who the seller is? Have I been in it already? Have I spoken to some people? Like, do I know an agent that had a client that did an inspection on this one already, and I'm already familiar with what type of concerns and repairs that are needed with the property? That's going to dictate how much time I need. Exactly.
For the inspection, right? That 245 number, like, where is that in relationship to value, right? If it's 240, if say the house may not appraise, like it's retail, say I'm paying retail at 245, then yeah, I may want to go through all the traditional measures as far as earnest money and option money. But say the house worth 345, Rick. Mm-hmm. Hell, I don't need no option.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going through with this period. Yeah. We're closing on this deal, period.
We own it, right? I mean, there's more than enough room in there if there's anything major that can pop off. So I'm not tripping on needing, I might still do my inspection, but regardless of what the inspection reports say, we good. We're gonna make this one work. So So that's what I mean by the circumstances or the context determines what you come up with, right? I don't want new agents to feel like, oh, it's always 1%, right? It's always $250 for 10 days. No, it ain't always that.
That's
Sometimes,
true.
sometimes you could charge more, sometimes you could charge less. Also, it depends on which side of the transaction are you on. Are you representing the buyer? Or are you representing the seller? Right? Because obviously the seller, they're gonna want as much earnest money, as much option money, and the least amount of option period. That's what the seller gonna want. And the buyer, guess what they gonna want? The least amount of earnest money, the least amount of option money, and the most amount of time for the option period. So it also depends on which side you're representing in the transaction. So yeah, you will see that 1%, to kind of give you a starting point. And again, you may put 1% out there, say like in this $245,000 property, you may put $2,400, but you may have got away with $1,000, right? You don't know. You may have got away with $500, or you put that $2,400 there and it's a competitive property, and you might have should have put $5,000 on this one to really give your client a chance to really get it. And then again, option period, it's really contingent on how fast you can get that inspector out there, how fast you can get that inspection report back, right? If you only need 5 to 7 days, you may be able to get away with, say, $200, $300 for your option period. If you need 10 days, you need 15 days, and you probably got to pay more for your option period. So all of those dynamics you got to take into consideration, Rick, when answering this question right here. Hopefully I covered all the dynamics when it came to that.
No, absolutely. And coaching, one of the things that you spoke about that I think is really important, I would like to double down on, is how earnest money and option money can be used to strengthen your client's offer if you're representing the buyer. So that's why it's so important for all those realtors, real estate professionals, and students to heed the advice that you're giving, Coach Mike, is not to look at the 1% for earnest money and the option fee as a hard and fast rule. It's more of it can be used as a negotiation. It can also be used to strengthen your offer. So just keep that in mind. And as you're giving advice to your clients, we want to be aware of how competitive is the property that we have interest in, how many offers do they have. And like you mentioned earlier, Coach Mike, we want this to be our highest and best offer and make it as competitive as possible. And sometimes earnest deposits and option deposits can be used to do such.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man. Well, that's what I got for him today, Rick.
I mean, man, like I said before, Coach, sometimes these questions that come through the lines and the way that the advice that you offer, sometimes it's so next level that I hope that everybody in the audience takes advantage of these tidbits. Because if you've been in the real estate market, in the real estate industry for 5 years or 15 years, these things will continue to pop up. No client is exactly the same. They're all like fingerprints, of course. And it's this nuance and those gray areas that's the experience that you can gain from being in the field and checking out the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show, Coach. So thanks for everything.
Hey, man, the pleasure is always mine, Rick. Let's keep it cranking.
Hey, man, is there a message that you want to share with the audience? Is there any updates, any information about what's going on this week in the world of Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm that you'd like to share, Coach?
No, absolutely, man. Well, it's not like it ain't another 10 events, but we do got some stuff going on.
All right.
Going on this week, man. But so tomorrow we're bringing on one of our agents, Miss Bria Craig. She's a realtor. She's going to be my guest on the Realtor Life podcast. Women's basketball coach, former women's basketball player. So she's going to be coming on tomorrow. Mastermind through tough time. So real estate professionals just talking about randomness. Very lighthearted show that we're going to be doing tomorrow at 12:30. We're going to be going live on Facebook and YouTube. So the topic is who's binge watching season 4 of Ozark. So that's our randomness that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. We have a couple of great people that are going to be coming to the office on this week as well. One of them is Miss Janice Williams with Supreme Lending, and she's going to be talking about transparency, how they create their philosophy around customers for life. So it's always great to be in partnership with, people that you're doing business with as a realtor. Be in partnership with people that have that kind of philosophy of service and transparency, especially as a lender partner. So she's gonna be in the office on Wednesday. Denise Williams with Supreme Lending. She's gonna bring us some grub as well, so we can sit down and learn more about her. And then on Thursday, we're gonna be bringing in Mr. Jannard McCray. He's with Does It All Inspections. And he's gonna bring us some grub as well. We sit down and break bread. We're all about, you got to break bread with your people, Rick. You got to break bread with them. So we're gonna break bread with Jannard McCray. And he says that he's an inspector. He says he'll spot things that other inspectors will miss, Rick. Yeah, he said his eye, he has a finer eye as it relates to the property or the condition of a property better than any other inspectors out there. So when you hear that, Rick, you got to bring them in. We got to hear what this brother talking about. Hey. So that's going to be on Thursday at 12 o'clock in the office as well, the Central Coaching and Training Center. And then we have our first affiliate new agent study hall of the year. So we're bringing that. We do that twice a month. Matter of fact, my new head of agent development, Ms. Dion Collier, is going to be participating with that as well. And what that's all about, Rick, is where, people that are a part of our non-licensed affiliate membership, they have an opportunity at least twice a month to engage with me, engage with leaders in the company. They'll be able to ask their questions as it relates to the exam, the questions, the things that they're learning in class. They'll be able to engage at that level. They'll be able to network with other people that are part of the affiliate membership. And they'll also be able to network with people that are new agents, because it's our mentees participate in the study hall as well. So you'll be learning the basics, and they're also going to gain some resources to help them with passing that real estate exam. So it's a great time that we have together. We're going to do that on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And it's simulcast, so they can come into the office, Rick, or they can log on Zoom as well. The only catch is that they have to be a member of our non-licensed affiliate membership. They have to have signed up for it. It doesn't cost anything, but they at least have to have signed up for it to be able to participate. Really, not just in the study hall, but any of the events that I just named. The only way for non-licensed people to participate is through our affiliate membership. Like, it's the golden ticket. So they'll be able to do that on this Thursday as well at 6 o'clock. So again, another jam-packed week, Rick. We just out there helping the people.
Hey, man, thank you so much for those announcements, man. I urge everybody to take advantage of all these events. I want to thank everyone out there that follows not only this show, but also the Prime Real Estate Network. If you've never had opportunity to check out the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, it airs live on Facebook every Thursday at noon, and you can see debut episodes every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. You can just search YouTube, go to your search bar, put in the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. You'll have opportunity to catch up on all the back episodes. You'll see not only myself, but my co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, and you may also see Mr. Michael G. Davis. Coach Mike has appeared on the podcast on a couple of occasions as well. So on behalf of myself,
every now and again I show up, Rick, man.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you for that, brother. On behalf of myself, Rick Davis, and CEO Coach Mike, Mr. Michael G. Davis, I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Monday Night Live Real Estate Call-In Show. In the meantime, in the between time, Coach Mike and myself are just a call, text, inbox message, or email away. Until next Monday night, everyone out there in the audience, please be safe and be blessed.